What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and I'm here tonight with the review for Married to Medicine. This is season number 7. This is episode 3, and it's titled Resuscitated Friendships. So without further ado, you guys, let's go ahead and just jump into tonight's video. Alright, so with Dr. Simone, we picked this episode up where it left off last week. And that was with her meeting up with Quad. And, you know, Quad was talking about, you know, she wanted her to take accountability for what happened at Heavenly's Crab Boil last season. And Simone was like, what? We talked about this. We talked about this at the Crab Boil. And then I know we talked about it some more at the reunion. And I'm just like, come on, Quad. Like, you doing the most at this point. Like, what do you want her to say? Like, if she's apologized to you for it before, what are we rehashing? Why are we rehashing it? I think sometimes Quad just likes to hear, I feel like at times, Quad likes to hear her own self-talk because sometimes she does not have any valid points. Like, 0 valid points. And then we see Simone, she goes home to Cecil, and she's telling Cecil everything that happened and how, you know, she went there hoping to make things right with Quad, but now she's just not sure. And I'm like I said, I'm 100% on Simone's side because I just think that Quad at this point is grasping at straws, is digging for whatever she can dig for, because this is something that was addressed a full year ago. And, you know, she's talking about how Simone is scary, but again, like I said, this is something that was addressed last year at the Crab Boil, and then everything was rehashed at the reunion. So I don't know why Quad at this point is bringing everything back up, because it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me personally at all. So then later we see Simone. She's at home with her family, and Simone is setting some ground rules for them because they're men, and they're being disgusting men at that. You know, clothes everywhere, rubbers in the open. She's having to walk the dog, picking up his shit, getting it in her hair. I'm like, wait a minute. Why didn't you use a trash bag? Why didn't you use like a Walmart bag to pick up his shit? Like, what did you pick his shit up with to get it in your hair? Like, that's my question. What did you pick that shit up with? But that's neither here nor there. And then they turn around and have some rules for her, which I was here for that one rule. She screams. That is all Simone does is fucking scream. Scream, 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 scream. Like, I'm surprised Simone has not gone hoarse over the years screaming the way she does, like a freaking banshee. Alright, next you guys, we got Mariah. So Mariah is at the crib. She has her sister Lake over at the house, and she has Toya coming over. So with Toya coming over, they go outside, they sit by the pool, they're eating, and they are discussing the high tea that Dr. Jackie had. Mariah is almost like Quad, grasping at straws. I do get, however, where Mariah is coming from a little bit. And I said it last week in my video last week. I do logistically get, I do kind of get where Mariah's coming from. Cause, you know, with the podcast that Dr. Jackie and Dr. Heavenly have, I do agree. Dr. Jackie shouldn't have said what she said. You know, when she said, do you think that Quad should have brought up Mariah's drug use? Well, we don't know that Mariah has an issue with drugs. So she could have said, do you think, and she could have said this is all allegedly, do you believe that Quad should have brought up Mariah's drug use? And again, allegedly, because I don't know I don't know from the Mariah that I know her to have an issue with drugs. So do you think that was the right thing to bring up? And then Heavenly could have said no. But my thing with Mariah is you're making it as if no one saw the reunion last season to not know that Quad said, you know, she said that you did cocaine. And that's my whole problem with Mariah at this point. You're acting as if nobody saw the reunion. We all saw the reunion. We all know what was said. You said that Quad came out of your brother-in-law's and your sister's room with his shirt on, smelling like him, insinuating she was cheating. And she said you did drugs. Tit for tat. But for you to be mad at Jackie, Dr. Jackie didn't say you did, well, it's kind of it's a gray area. She didn't necessarily say you did drugs. She was repeating what Quad said. And again, like I said, she should have just said fucking allegedly. That's all she had to say was allegedly. And we wouldn't be going through this stuff with Mariah right now. Like, Mariah wouldn't have a storyline in this first few episodes. She wouldn't have nothing to talk about. So then Toya is like, Toya tried to chime in, and Mariah cut off, but she said, let me finish. She says, like, I could have said something to Contessa about her, saying my husband was the biggest, your husband is the definition of a big ass bitch. But she didn't, because she knew that if she said something to Contessa, they would have argued back and forth. But what Toya doesn't want is for she and Contessa to be in a good spot. And I'm like, God damn. Like, Toya is trying to grow up a little bit. A little bit. But we're going to move on. All right, so next we have Dr. Jackie. So we see Simone and Jackie, they meeting up. They give, if you guys watch Alex, they do give, like, they scissor each other vibes. Just a little bit, not a lot. But, they're chatting, and Dr. Jackie is telling Simone that she feels like she's torn between Heavenly and Simone. But she says that when it comes down to Heavenly, she does not allow Heavenly to talk shit about Simone in her presence, which that's what a true friend is. A real friend, yes, you might be like, you know what, two of my close friends, they don't get along with each other, but I'm not going to let one trash the other in front of me, and I'm not going to let the other trash the other one in front of me. So that is a true definition of a friend, and I respect that with Dr. Heavenly. Do not let your friends talk about each other. But, Simone is saying, she's done with Heavenly because she didn't feel like Heavenly had respect for her husband, which I agree with her on that one. Heavenly didn't have any respect for Cecil, especially for her to go and repeat something that she and Simone had a conversation about, which I'm going to say once again, it's not like no one knew how Simone felt about Cecil not working. That wasn't a secret. So I don't know why Simone is so mad, but I mean, we're going to let Simone have that one. So Jackie then says, I miss my friends. And she says, like, would you be up for, rekindling things and connecting with Heavenly? She says, okay, I'll do that. But you have to do the same with Mariah. And, she's like, ooh, okay, we can do that. I'm like, Jack, are you going to be able to do that and not give her a shady face? Because that's all you can do is just give Mariah a shady look like, girl, whatever you said, I ain't really thinking about you. I don't care. Like, that is literally all she gives her. It's just a crazy stare. All right, so then we got Dr. Contessa, and she has Dr. Heavenly over. So they catching up, so we all know Dr. Contessa is going to school in Tennessee, right? Yeah, Nashville, Tennessee. So, she's talking about the things that are going on between her, she and Dr. Scott, how he doesn't feel appreciated. Now, going back and rewatching last week's episode, when she came in there with that food, I did feel like she was wrong for, her approach with Dr. Scott, because he had fed those kids. And, she was talking about how the clothes were in the kitchen. Okay. How do you know he's not going to go back in after those kids are put down? Because I'm pretty sure that is hard as hell to try to fold some clothes with 3 kids running around, because it was hard for my mom with just one, which was me, to fold clothes. She would wait. She would either have to go in her room and wait for me to go to sleep sometimes to fold the clothes and then bring them in my room. So I got where he was coming from. So then, she's telling Heavenly, she and Heavenly are getting caught up on everything. And then she tells Heavenly that, Dr. Scott says she abandoned the family. Now, do I agree with the fact that he says she abandoned the family? Absolutely not. I don't know if Dr. Contessa sat down and had a conversation with Dr. Scott before she actually went to school. I would hope she did. I would hope she wouldn't just, spontaneously say, oh, I'm going back to school, and not tell him. I would hope that's a conversation that they had as husband and wife. And then, she said that Dr. Scott told her she couldn't take her kids to Nashville. I don't blame her for that one either. Like, why would you uproot the kids from their schools to go to Nashville. So, no. And then, Heavenly's telling her basically that her place is in the house. I'm like, is your place in the house with Daddy? Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. Is your place in the house, buddy? Is your place in the house? No. So you can't tell this woman the same thing. All right, you guys. So next we got Toya. I do feel bad for Toya, because Toya had the miscarriage. And, she told her boys about it. Toya is questioning the fact that she maybe should not have told her boys until she got to a certain point in her pregnancy. Because of her, she said she's 40, in her 40s. Do I think that she should have waited? Not necessarily. Because, anything could have happened at any point in the pregnancy. I know, women who are high risk or over a certain age, I know that they do typically want to wait until they make it out of the first trimester, because after the first trimester, your odds of miscarrying significantly shrink. So I know I get where she was coming from, but I don't think she was wrong for telling her boys. And then one of the boys got in school and got in trouble at school, and he turned he did something with his chair. So they take the trash out, and she's talking to Eugene about that. And they decided to go in and talk to the kids. One of the little boys said he was sad, and then the other one said he was angry because the baby died. And they're like, well, the baby didn't actually die. The baby just wasn't strong enough to, keep going. So the baby didn't die. And then, Dr. Eugene broke it down for him. Like, it was so small that the baby, it was very small that it was just, cells at that point. And they were like, we're made of cells? He said, yeah. I love how educational that was. And then, they told the boys, like, so if there's ever anything, like if you guys feel sad, if you guys want to cry, if you guys are mad, please come to us and talk to us. And I just really, like I said, Toya has not been my favorite person, but I did. In that instance, I was like, wow, like that's really sad. But again, I don't think Toya should blame herself at all. She shouldn't blame herself for the miscarriage. She shouldn't blame herself for telling her boys that she was pregnant. Like, that's a happy time. That's a joyous time. So you want to tell your family, of course. So I don't think that she was wrong at all. I really don't think she was wrong. And then, she was talking to Eugene about her doctor's appointment with Simone and how, she's not okay after it. And I understand that. Like, that was something that, was traumatic for her. But I just want Toya to stop beating herself up over it. I think once Toya stops beating herself up over what happened, then Toya will be able to, process it, put her feelings in, get her feelings together, and be able to say, what, it was nothing that I could do. It was my body. My body told me that it just wasn't the time, and I just want her to. I wish she would stop. For Toya, stop blaming yourself, please. Do that. It's not your fault. God has a plan for everything that we do. So keep that in mind. All right, so next we got Dr. Heaven. So she is in her closet. She's rearranging her closet with her daughter, Alora. This scene was really not much. Again, she's talking about Alora dating. This time she says she can't date until she's 18 or 19. And I was like, okay, you've been a bit of a hypocrite. Because you told her last week you dated when you were 15, so you're being a hypocrite. Now, I do get it. She is a girl, and you would be worried about, young boys. All they would want from her is to have sex with her. And, there are diseases out there. She could get pregnant. So I definitely get it. But you can't shelter her. And then she asked her, what does she know about sex? And Alora's like, no, we're not going there. We're not having that conversation. And then Dr. Damon comes in, hi, buddy. And, Alora's like, well, Mama said I can't date until I'm 18 or 19. He says, how about 30? I don't think you should date until you're 30. So then Alora leaves, and he's like, she's allowed to go to the movies with me all the time. But now we don't even do that. I just feel like she's, she's really growing up, and I don't know what to do. Man, Damon. Dr. Damon. Hi, buddy. Hi. Hi, buddy. Like when he says hi, buddy to Heavenly, you would think you want to go, hi, buddy. Oh shit, I got the hiccups. Moving on. All right, and next, you guys, we got Quad. So we got Quad. She's cooking dinner, and I get that Quad loves those dogs like they're her kids, but the way that she talks to those dogs, it's like, girl, you really believe that them are kids, huh? Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna judge her. I'm gonna let it go. But she has Dr. Jackie over with her, and she's talking to Dr. Jackie about who else? Simone, and how she's talking about how Simone was screaming and she was being defensive when they sat down. And I'm like, you are leaving out a whole lot of this conversation because you're leaving out the fact that you were late to the dinner, for one. And then, two, when you came in there, you was on 10 to Simone. And you're trying to rehash old shit from last year. So, of course Simone was on 10. Of course Simone was defensive. Of course she was screaming. I do the same thing to you. Like, you are dredging up stuff from the past that you guys have addressed. You don't want to take any responsibility in this situation because Jackie told her you need to take some responsibility for yourself. And Quad does not feel like she did anything wrong. And I'm like, you did a lot wrong. Number one, like I said, you came in on 10 to Simone. Like, Quad, to me, she's an actress for one, and she's irritating as shit to me. Like, God, she just irritates me at times. Really irritates me. But that's pretty much it for Quad. Because, again, a person that can't take accountability when they're wrong, I think it's something wrong with them altogether. All right, and lastly, you guys, is dinner with Mariah, Simone, Heavenly, and Jackie. So Mariah and Simone arrive first, and Simone tells her, I made this deal with Jackie. And, Mariah's like, so what is the deal? So the deal was that, if I had dinner with Heavenly, Jackie would have dinner with you. So here we are. And then Jackie and Heavenly walking there. She's like, girl, you a shady bitch. I'm like, yes, she is. Yes, she is. So they sit down, and Mariah tells Jackie how she felt about the podcast, and Jackie says, well, I didn't know what you meant by my slippers showing, and she says, the way you talk, she said you talk at me, not to me. She says you talk at me, not to me, and then she says something about ebonics and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, oh my God, Jackie, you making this worse. But Jackie apologizes to, Mariah because she says, it was brought to my attention that I did offend you. And she says, since I offended you, I do apologize. I'm like, thank God. So now we don't have to talk about this shit any fucking more. So then we move over to Heavenly and Simone, and they start talking. And I'm like, oh, God. Heavenly calls Simone a liar. I'm like, oh, my God, why? This is about to spark a whole ass argument. So then, Cecil, Heavenly talking about Cecil tweeted at her. Bravo showed the tweet. He actually did not tweet at her. What he did was he was laughing at what Mariah said last season when they were on a couples trip when she told us her house needed to be pressure washed because they might all be contaminated. And Cecil had the crying emoji, and he said something about she said her house needs to be pressure washed. And he said at Dr. Simone Whitmore, whatever her Twitter handle is, he added her saying, I hope you're not coming home contaminated. And that was what Cecil said. So Cecil did not actually tweet to Heavenly. Heavenly saw that tweet somehow and got in her feelings and tweeted to him. But, then they start arguing with one another. I'm like, oh my God, here we go. Here we go. But eventually they end up apologizing to one another and they hug it out. So hopefully all this shit that we talked about in the first 3 episodes is dead and we can come up with some new shit. Like, hopefully. With the exception of Quad, who's still on the same shit with Simone. But you guys, that was the video. Be sure to like it, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys later.